Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Still Life, Blind.
Yes, No, well... What the hell is going on? What's this I hear about suspects breaking into the morgue? Agent McPherson and Detective Miller, I want to see you both in my office, now! Yes. And while you're at it, one of you can get me a cup of coffee. Victoria, can you...
Don't sweat it, Miller. I'll cover you. Anyways, you have the report to finish. I'll even get his damn coffee.
Next on Chicago Vice, Agent McPherson gets the boss a coffee.
Miller, don't make this any harder than it already is.
By the way, I have some good news. Come and see me after.
Can you give me a preview?
It's about the data correlation. I think we might have something.
You didn't tell,
No, I wanted to check with you first.
Okay, I'll see you after.
Is there anything new on my desk? Yes, there's a stack of papers. Those are all old autopsy reports from previous cases. Okay, let's check those papers. Pictures taken of the 5th crime scene. Okay, that's not particularly useful because I saw those things. I was taking those pictures. Okay, let's get his coffee. I think I even found his coffee mug in the interrogation room. What does it say, actually? Oh, that's a weird bug. It just says Todd FBI. Okay.
That won't work. That won't work. I never work without coffee. Of course, when it comes to this coffee, I'll make an exception.
Okay, let's get yelled at by my boss.
I think he likes it black with 2 sugars.
Yeah, right, whatever.
Wait, is there sugar anyway? Anywhere?
I have no use for napkins.
I don't think there is sugar. Oh well, you'll have to take it black, I guess. Okay, let's snoop around his office.
I don't need to go there.
But what even...
I don't need to go there.
What even is that? A thermostat? Or what?
Here's your coffee.
Thank you.
In what new way have I pissed you off this time?
I distinctly remember asking for both you and Miller. Ugh, never mind. I just hope you haven't forgotten that he is your partner.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Now tell me what happened tonight.
The perp entered, I assume, through the garage.
Claire already filled me in. I want to know what happened outside.
I pursued the perp with the 4x4 into the alleyway. He climbed up a fire escape to the rooftop. When I got up there, he gave me a surprise blow to the shoulder with a 2x4. He got away through the other fire escape.
Shots fired?
Yes, 1.
Any leads so far in the case?
Besides what the next victim looks like? No, not really.
We're not sure of that. Claire is running it through the database to see if we get a hit.
Is that it? 'Cause I'd like to get back to work now.
Consider yourself on probation.
What? Why?
I've seen it before. Agents get too involved in their case and lose it.
I'm losing it now? I think you're just pissed because we look like schmucks on the news. It's all about image, isn't it?
No, this is about your recent behavior. I'm worried about the progress of the case, and I think you need a break.
This is bullshit.
You're only proving my point.
You know, Browning? I usually get kissed before I get fucked.
Okay, but I think she lied. I don't remember her firing a shot, even like a warning shot, much less actually aiming at him, which in fact I specifically called her out for not doing that.
So, is everything okay?
Not really. I'm on probation and he'll probably take over the case.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. What's this big lead you were telling me about?
I did what you asked. I correlated the info on victims 4 and 5. I got something, but it may be nothing.
Try me.
You've said that the last 2 victims probably knew our perp because he covered their face. Well, I got a name that's common to both victims. A Vaclav Kolar. Also, I tried linking this guy to victims 1, 2, and 3, but no go.
Now, Václav is a pretty common Slavic name. Specifically, there's been a lot of Václavs in the in Czech, but there are. It is a name that crops here and there in Poland as well. So that probably links somehow. Maybe that's a totally wild guess, and not one I would ordinarily make that it links somehow with the case from like 70 years ago, because as I said, it's a pretty common name, a regular name, but given that the other case has been given a lot of prominence in this game, via flashbacks, there might be some link there.
How did you get the name Vaclav Kolar?
I read Claire's report on the 5th victim. In it, she added a picture that was found in the victim's purse. On the picture, there was the victim, a girl, and a guy. The guy reminded me of someone. He's actually one of the people I interviewed for the 4th murder. He was her tutor at the university. I went back to read my own report, and it's the same guy. I'm sure of it.
Any relationship between the 4th and 5th victims?
As far as I can tell, they didn't know each other, but they had this guy in common. Maybe he deserves a second interview?
Definitely. I'll go alone. He's seen you before, so it might make things go smoother, make him less nervous.
Hey, so what happened downstairs?
We think the killer broke into the morgue and left us a picture of the next victim.
You're kidding, right?
I kid you not. A bold SOB, I'll give him that. You should go down and take a look at the picture. Claire needs to do a few tests on it and send it off to the labs.
Do you think it's safe to go down there?
Sure it is.
Okay, I'll go have a look.
Okay, and I'll give Kolar a visit.
I sent the address to your 4x4's navcom. If I have the chance, I'll go interview the latest victim's friends. Maybe I can talk to the other girl on the photo.
Good idea.
I really hope this Kolar checks out.
It's worth a try.
Okay, let's go. By the way, I'm a bit weirded out that apparently my car has like a roof access hatch, almost as if it was an APC or something, or a tank. Like, it's not even a sunroof, it's specifically an access hatch. Like, you could point out a machine gun out of here, for example. Okay, let's go to the campus. Have I been given any new info? No, but I can check if there was more. Yeah, there was more in the Officer Tate. Have I read this? Not sure. I think I stopped at this. Beats beating stuck behind the desk, though. Introducing Officer Tate. Officer Tate was waiting for me, all rough around the edges as usual. He's kind and sweet though, in his "oh shucks, ma'am" kind of way. He rarely calls me Special Agent, always Miss McPherson. Not even what? Miss? I'm not sure what's the difference in pronunciation between Miss and Miss. Like, what? But again, that's probably because I'm not a native English speaker. There's not a lot of people who could get away with that. He's a good cop though. I'm glad things worked out for him. Miller was already there when I arrived too. Talk about the other side of the spectrum from Tate. Miller lost his lunch again. I can understand the first time. Nobody's ever ready for the first. But 2 in a row is not good. He has potential. He's smart and competent. But he's off to a rocky start. Tate laughed his ass off, of course, and Claire was pissed. I guess we are all kind of edgy in our own way. Victim number 5. Good old Claire. She had me work the scene, get the rust off. Finally paroled from Warden Browning's jail. I almost shouted Merry Christmas. It felt so good to be back, but every time I felt that way, I remembered the dead naked, sliced-up girl in the icy bathtub, and that kind of thing brought me back to reality. Another mother is going to be planning a family get-together around the casket this Christmas. Modus operandi. The perp is getting worse, no question. He's covering their faces now and kicking the shit out of her is also new. The blood on the wall, what's next? Browning, God. He hated me before I ever got there. Everybody must have, I guess, since the Bureau really likes its precious procedures. Maybe they figured that some of Browning's obsession with rules and discipline would rub off on me. Yeah, right. If I would listen to people like Browning in New Orleans, Davin Carroll would be dead. He's doing a weird job with this case. He yells a lot but doesn't actually seem to be doing anything. Maybe he thinks he's managing me. Fine. He can file reports with the city and I'll do the real work. FBI and CPD. I really got to stop letting the numbers get to me, like Claire said. With the crawler, we lucked out because he crossed the state line for his second kill, so none of the locals anywhere had a choice but to let us in. This time, of course, they did what they usually do, a pissing contest. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. Hey, procedure is procedure, so what if people die? At least I'm on it now. Maybe I can stop him before number 6. I was surprised this time when they gave me Miller, because I was expecting some stooge from the city, but it looked like they actually did give me the best person they had available, which is a surprise. Not that they really had much available. Still, he doesn't mind doing my grunt's work while I work on the killer's psychological profile, so it seems to be working out. Now, this is interesting, and something I don't really know that much about. The jurisdiction problem between the local police and the FBI, because, the FBI, as the name implies, is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So my understanding is that I'm involved in this case because it's a serial killer, and therefore it has like a lot of it invites special scrutiny. Like it is an unusual case, even though she said, whenever a crime takes place in across multiple states, it's supposedly a lot easier for the FBI to get involved, which I can understand, because then they cannot limit them, the state police, they cannot limit it to a single state. But I guess here I'm involved mostly because it's such an unusual case of serial killings, I imagine. But as I said, I don't know. I'm not American and I don't really know much about such things. Dad got his Christmas thing going on again. He's always happy to see me, but I can tell he still misses Mom. He really should try dating or something. Yeah, like the district attorney for the city of Chicago has all kinds of free time. Although it would be nice if he did spend his free time worrying about something other than me. With a father who was a PI, you would think he would understand that crime runs in this family and just let it go. I'd better remember to take Daddy's gift with me before I leave. He's probably expecting another puzzle box from me this year, but I'll bet he isn't expecting one ordered directly from Hong Kong. Okay, so it was like a puzzle box to, play with. Okay. Home for holidays. Thank God Daddy invited me back here. He's got a sense about those things, always knows just what I need. And what I need right now is to relax and soak in a bath, a warm bath, wash the death off, have some cocoa and go to sleep. Richard was disappointed, of course. Poor baby. I know it's tough when you have plans and something goes wrong, but he could be a little bit more sympathetic. I had plans too. So did Cynthia Woods. Who is dead. That is so sweet though. I complain about my room, about him treating me like his little girl and everything, but he knows me better than that. The necklace. I can't believe Daddy gave me this necklace. Every so often tonight I could see him looking over at it. He never talks about Grandma and Grand that much, so even the little he said tonight was pretty amazing. I remember 2 of them were really nice, and even at her age, Gran was quite the beauty, but there was something about them that was kind of sad too. Maybe I've been profiling people for too long. Have I read this all? No, I stopped here, right? Good man to have in my corner about Staszek. So, introducing Milena. Milena could be a really pretty girl if she had a better life. I've met prostitutes in America, London, Paris, and now here, and it's always the same story. The life breaks them down, bruises their hopes and dreams. The good is still in there, but you have to look really hard. And what John is going to bother with that? A vision in the park. I got another damned vision. I was hoping when I changed jobs again that this relic of my old days as a snoop wouldn't come back to haunt me, but I guess it was too much to hope for. At least the stupid things are actually good for something. A morgue in an old church makes sense, I suppose. If they're good enough to use a field hospital during wartime, then why not? They've got one big room and they are often the strongest building in town. Plus, you've got Almighty God looking down on the bodies. The Crow Man. Let's see, a man who wants to remain anonymous but claims he's from London and has figured out more about the case than the primary investigator, plus he can apparently train birds to steal for him. Why do I feel that he knows much more than he's telling me? So it turns out that Kubina might not be such a bad guy after all. At the very least, he seems to be one of those crooks with a sense of honor. One of those guys who, if you find what he wants and give it to him, you can actually trust to be honest when dealing with you. It would be nice if Kubina is as smart a businessman as I give him credit for. Milena and Apollina are quite an interesting pair. I wonder if Apollina would look out for Milena the way Milena's keeping an eye out on her. Probably not. Apollina is trying too hard to pretend she's got status of some kind. A courtesan in Perlovka. On the other hand, she did give me the medal without too much of a fight, so maybe she's not so bad. Or she might just be spooked like the rest of them. Poor Staszek, same old story. A beat cop does his best on the job, but the wife's asleep when he gets home. Doesn't excuse him, but I hope his turn for me doesn't work out too badly for him. Maybe he will learn his lesson. It's not a good idea for a man with any power to have embarrassing secrets. The honorable criminal. So far so good with Kubina. I guess he realizes that I'm here to keep his assets secure. You can always count on a man when he's looking after his own interests. If you can say anything good about the men like Kubina, is that they are smart, at least a little bit, so you can rely on them to be slightly predictable and at least not get killed by accident. His goons, on the other hand, one thing that every private eye learns is to hate dogs. Okay. Chapter 3. Orphan Man with a Top Hat. Samantha called. Claire wants to talk later. I forget sometimes that Samantha is closer to my age than her mother is. I wonder how she feels about Claire treating me like another daughter, the daughter who understands about her work. God fucking damn it, so close, I had him, the arrogant bastard taunting us. When I find him, I'm going to make him eat that damned picture. I don't care if he did let me live. He doesn't get points for that. Of course, I need to figure out why he didn't kill me when he had the chance. It might be important. That's your last mistake, you son of a bitch. profile. Okay, I have to start from scratch, go over everything again from the beginning, like a puzzle when you leave it for a few hours. First thing, he covered the faces of the last 2 victims. He knew them. No matter how crazy he is, some part of him rejected what he was doing, wanted to deny it. It's always easier to hurt a stranger, so he covered their faces, and now we know to look for what they had in common. Where they intersect, we find him. University of Chicago. First victim worked there. Numbers 3 and 4 were students. Add to that the theory that our killer knew the 4th one, and the university looks like a good place to check out. Okay. Let's continue. I can't talk to that person. Okay.
Who is it?
Agent McPherson, FBI. I have a few questions I'd like to ask you, if you have the time.
I have time for the pretty agent.
May I come in?
Sure.
Geez, sorry I asked.
What?
Oh, nothing. Just thinking out loud.
Oh, okay.
Did you know a Natalie Kenworth?
Yes, I did.
So I imagine you also know that she was murdered about a month ago.
Yes, and I already talked to a police officer about her.
Yeah, I know, but I would appreciate if you could remind me. How did you know her? Friend? Just a classmate? Were you intimate?
I was her tutor. She was studying in criminology, and I was helping her with some of her classes. She came here often.
Do you know Cynthia Woods?
Cynthia Woods? No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? Maybe a photo would help.
Oh, yes, I have seen her before. She's my neighbor's friend. I saw her at a party. That picture was taken there.
So you're not close to Cynthia?
No, she's more my neighbor's friend. I think I saw her twice in all, at the party and once in the hallway. Why?
She was found brutally murdered in an abandoned apartment building.
You don't think that... Hey, I'm always in here working on my thesis. I never go out. I went to Mia's party because she invited me. I think she invited me so I wouldn't complain about the noise.
Mia's the other girl in the picture?
Yes, she's my neighbor.
Your thesis, what's the subject?
I'm doing it on a serial murder case called the Perlovka Ripper. It happened in the late 20s.
Well, you don't say.
Are you familiar with the case?
You could say that, yes. Do you mind if I take a look at it?
Sure, I'll even print you up a copy.
A student in criminology, huh? Did you ever get Professor Pratt?
No, but I know him. I've had several conversations about weird unsolved cases.
Does he still have bad BO?
BO?
Body odor. In other words, he stinks.
Yes, he still does.
Okay, can I have the copy now?
Sure, I'll be right back.
Can I snoop around his place when he's not here?
Now's my chance. I should swipe something to get prints.
Yeah, probably like the counter.
Too risky to take that. He would notice that missing. I don't want to get nailed on entrapment. It's not a sample of semen that I want, but fingerprints.
Okay.
This will do nicely.
Here you are.
Thanks a lot. I'll be sure to read it.
I'd really appreciate your input if you ever have the time.
Will do. You're not planning on leaving the country.
No.
Fine. Thanks for your cooperation, and I'll keep in touch.
Okay, let's read it. Collar's thesis proposal. Without remorse, unsolved serial killings, an examination of the 1931 Chicago serial killings and their relation to the 1929 Perlovka Ripper killings in Prague, Czech Republic, by Václav Kolara. Now, this is kind of dumb because there was no Czech Republic in 1929, because it was Czechoslovakia, so that's kind of a stupid mistake to make. But I wonder. I haven't checked. Is this studio that made this game American or are they European? Because especially if they are European, that's a doubly stupid mistake to make. Because the games, the first game, Post Mortem, took place in Paris. This game, kind of, part of it takes place in Prague, but I guess part of it also takes place in Chicago, so there is that. A research paper submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the Master of Arts, a degree in criminology, approved 6th semester credit, Department of Psychology of the University of Chicago, February 2004. Okay, so I guess this gives me the date that is now. I intend to examine the case reports of both the 1929 Perlovka Ripper killings in Prague and the 1931 Chicago serial killings in order to establish commonality of the method and signature, which suggests that both series of murders were in fact carried by the same individual. Well, this is actually very plausible because there's only 2 years difference. By examining the circumstances surrounding the murders, including police files, coroner's reports, and secondary documents, including newspaper coverage, which proved unusually sparse considering the sensationalistic nature of the killings, and the journal of Yuri Skalik, the senior investigator assigned to the case in Prague, and what little I could have gleaned from the FBI archives, I believe I have identified the murderer. Gustav McPherson, private investigator and American expatriate, was present in Prague during the killings. He was also in Chicago at the time of the 1931 slayings. Further research into Mr. McPherson's background revealed that he fled New York in the winter of 1922, following allegations by the city police force that he may have been responsible for an unsolved homicide involving a former client. While in Paris, McPherson apparently worked as a painter until he was drawn to the affair of the Whites, the investigation of a double homicide in the Hotel Orpheus in autumn of 1925. Interestingly, one of the victims, Faye Johnson, registered under the alias Ruby White, may have also been known to McPherson as a result of the investigation that prompted him to leave New York. McPherson then left Paris, and apparently in order to evade the authorities who might have identified him as a suspect in the Hotel Orpheus killings. Now, this is about the story of the first game, Post Mortem. It takes place in Paris and it depicts him solving this exact case. He made his way to Prague, where he abandoned his painting and resumed work as a private investigator. Following the last of the Prague killings, a prostitute by the name of Ida Skalikowa, whose company McPherson was known to solicit, McPherson fled once again, a step ahead of the local police who had a warrant for his arrest. There were no more killings in Prague following his departure, only to reappear in Chicago in 1931, followed by 3 more murders. Okay, no more pages, right? Oh, no, there was one more page. McPherson subsequently resumed his career as a private investigator and does not appear to have been a suspect in these killings. Accepted, I intended to present a convincing case for McPherson as the Perlovka Ripper and the perpetrator of the Chicago murders. Furthermore, I intend to construct a detailed psychological profile of McPherson in an attempt to better understand what drove him to commit such ghastly crimes and why, atypically for serial killers according to the current theories, he then apparently stopped killing. Okay, that's interesting. Can I confront him about that?
I don't need to talk to him for now.
I can't. That would actually be kind of an interesting twist in that you could make a reasonable argument for Gustav McPherson to be mentally ill, because he has those supposed visions, which, you know, ordinarily you would take that as a sign of mental illness, right?
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
What's up?
Nothing much. I was just calling to say I was on my way to visit Victim 5's roommate. Maybe she can tell us more about Vaclav and the other girl in the picture.
No need, I know who she is. She's Vaclav's neighbor. Actually, I just finished the interview.
How did it go?
He's harmless. Anyways, he doesn't fit the profile. But I did nick a little something with Prince. I'm taking it over to Claire for comparisons.
Great idea, but we can't use it though if he checks out.
I know. Call me if you get anything interesting out of the roommate.
Will do. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's because of the fruits of the poison tree doctrine, right? Which stipulates that the police in the States, at least, they can't use evidence that he has been unlawfully secured. Like, you know, I picked it up without a search warrant, so whatever evidence can be gained from that cannot be used in court. Although I do wonder, can you retroactively, like, can you get that illegally and then, based on what you find out, then get a search warrant and then get other evidence, or not? Like, I would imagine not, because you know, then it's just a few extra steps, and in the end the instigating evidence that you found is still obtained illegally.
A reanimator deck. They're wicked. Miss December, wow. Hi, Claire.
Hey.
Can you check this bottle out for prints and compare them to the partials you got on victims 4 and 5? I don't think we'll hit anything, but I'm curious.
Curiosity killed the cat.
But a cat has 9 lives.
Let's stop the cliches before someone gets shot. Can you at least extract the prints for me? Once extracted, the computer can compare the partials.
Sure. Remind me where the stuff is?
The powder's upstairs on my desk near the plastifying machine, along with the brush and lifting tape. When you're done, just give me the print and I'll handle the rest down here.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We actually did lift prints in our criminology class on the university. It was pretty cool, you know.
Where's the equipment for lifting the prints again?
Okay.
Upstairs.
Probably. On your desk, right?
Yes, near the plastifying machine.
Okay, got it.
Okay, but it has shown me an interaction icon when I was standing, like, right here. Is that just a fluke? I guess so. Although, I guess I used the wrong word. It wasn't, because I had both a criminology class, which is more of a sort of sociological approach to analyzing crime, and then there was the, I don't know the English word, criminalistica, in Polish, which was like it concentrated more on the procedures of of studying the actual particular crimes and like forensics and stuff. It was a whole different subject because criminology in itself talked more about the approach, the different approaches that the state can take in profiling criminals, or like trying to understand the different theories throughout history of why people commit crimes. For example, we talked about phrenology in the criminology class, which was this outdated belief that you can determine a person's personality by the shape of their skull, and one of the more famous proponents of this theory was a guy called Cesare Lombroso, who was an Italian criminologist, and he had he wrote this book called the Man, the Delinquent, and the Something, which was supposedly about the criminal psyche. He had this idea that certain people are just born with like an innate predisposition towards crime, and that you can to some degree learn that by the physical characteristics of their bodies. So yeah, that was obviously bogus and stupid, but people used to believe it back in the day. Both of those classes were actually pretty interesting and cool. But this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to lift the prints next time. For now, that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.